This video runs through how to use average rate of return as a method of investment appraisal. We are going to use as a basis for making our calculations our three competing investment projects, 1, 2 and 3. We have year 0, which shows the initial cost of the investment for each project, and then we have our net returns, which are going to be repaid across a period of 5 years. Now, the average rate of return shows the annual profit from a project as a percentage of the initial investment cost. And in order to work that out, we need to go through a few steps. So the first step is to calculate the lifetime profit earned from the investment, remembering to take away the initial investment cost from any net returns throughout the lifetime of it. The second step is to divide by the number of years the return is made over. The third step is to calculate the annual profit as a percentage of the initial investment cost. And to do that, as with any percentage, we'll take our average annual profit, we'll divide it by the initial outlay, the initial cost of the investment, and multiply it by 100. We'll now put those steps into practice to calculate the average rate of return for project 1. So the first thing we need to do is calculate the lifetime profit, remembering to minus the initial cost. So we add up all of our 1 millions across the 5-year lifetime of the investment, which gives us 5 million, minus the initial investment cost of £4 million, which gives us a lifetime profit of the investment of £1 million. The next step we need to do is to divide this by the number of years that return is made over. So it's a 5-year lifetime of the investment. So we take 1 million, divide by 5 to give us 0.2 million. And the third step is to turn this annual profit into a percentage of the initial investment cost using our formula, the average annual profit, which is what we've just worked out as 0.2 million, divided by the initial outlay for project 1, which is 4 million, which gives us our answer for our average rate of return, 0.2 divided by 4 times 100, 5%. Same steps for project 2. We calculate the lifetime profit by adding up each of our net returns from every year across the lifetime of a project. That gives us £8.6 million minus the 6 million initial cost, which is 2.6 million. We then divide that by the number of years, which again is 5 years, giving us 0.52 million pounds. And then the last step, we turn that into a percentage of the initial investment cost. So using the formula, we have a 0.52 divided by 6 million, which was the initial cost of the investment, multiplied by 100, which gives us an average rate of return of 8.7%. And finally, project 3, calculate the lifetime profit by adding up each of our yearly net returns, giving us £6.4 million, minus the initial investment cost of £3 million to give us £3.4 million. We divide that by the number of years, again as 5, to give us £0.68 million. And then we need to calculate that as a percentage of our initial investment cost. Same formula, 0.68 divided by 3 times 100 gives us 22.7% as our average rate of return for project 3. When evaluating average rate of return, on the plus side, we can say that unlike payback period, it uses all of the cash flows across a project's lifetime, not just the ones that are earned until the initial cost of the investment has been repaid. And so this means the focus is very much on profitability. And as a business, you'll want to know first and foremost how profitable an investment is likely to be. It also means that clear comparisons of percentage returns can be made. It's very easy to compare these outcomes. We can see with our 3 projects, the clear winner was project 3 with an average rate of return of 22.7%, much higher than the other 2 options. And even if you've just got one project on the table, you can also compare this figure to interest rates, as the obvious alternative to an investment project would be to put that money into the bank. Just worth being aware though that average rate of return would need to be much higher than interest rates to compensate for additional risk of investment projects compared to putting that money into the bank. On the downside, for average rate of return, you're using all of the cash flows from the project's life, and so that means that later years are less likely to be as accurate because you're making these predictions quite far into the future. And it also means that the timing of the cash flow is ignored. And this is really important, as money in hand for a business immediately is worth a lot more than the promise of money some years into the future. The £3 million return for Project 3 is coming after 5 years. And as a business, you might prefer the earlier returns of Project 2, but average rate of return takes no account of this.